Good afternoon. Today we discussed about multivibrators part 2. In last class I have discussed about bistable multivibrator. Another name for bistable multivibrator is a flip-flap. Therefore, a flip-flap is a bistable multivibrator which can stay any one of its two stable states until the trigger pulse is applied. Therefore, flip-flap is a bistable multivibrator which can store one bit of information. Flip-flap is a device with two stable states. It remains in one of these states until triggered into the other. Flip-flap stores one binary digit, then it is a bistable multivibrator. Now let us discuss about the latch. First, the RS latch using NAND gates. The latch can be made by using an universal gates, say NOR gates or NAND gates. Now we see the RS latch using NAND gates. This is a diagram of RS latch using NAND gates. Here we have two NAND gates. Inputs of these NAND gates are R and S, and other inputs are feedback from the outputs. Here we have two outputs, Q and Q bar. That means always the outputs are complement to each other. Because here we have two inputs, we will get four possible combination. This is a truth table of RS latch using NAND gates. Here when R is equal to 0, S is equal to 0. For R is equal to 0, S is equal to 0, for a NAND gate, if any one of the input is low, simply output is high. Therefore, now for R is equal to 0, S is equal to 0, Q is 1 and Q bar is also 1. But in case of latch, always outputs are complement to each other. Therefore, this is a invalid condition. Therefore, R0, S0 is not allowed. It is indicated as a star here, which is a forbidden condition. Now, when R is equal to 0, S is equal to 1. For R is equal to 0 and S is equal to 1, for R is equal to 0, automatically Q is 1. If this Q1 feedbacks here, both inputs are 1, 1, Q bar will become 0. Therefore, for R is equal to 0, S is equal to 1, Q is equal to 1, known as set. Now, for R is equal to 1 and S is equal to 0. In such a case, if S is equal to 0, Q bar is 1. If this 1 feedbacks here, both inputs are 1, 1, therefore Q becomes 0. Therefore, for R is equal to 0, S is equal to 1, Q is equal to 1, known as reset. When R is equal to 1, S is equal to 1. In such a case, what happens? The output is completely depending upon the second inputs. For example, say when initially Q is 0. If this 0 feedback here, then Q bar becomes 1. If 1 feedbacks here, then Q becomes 0. That means previously the Q is 0, now also the Q is 0. For example, if Q is 1, in such a case, if the Q1 is feedbacks here, then Q bar becomes 0. If 0 feedbacks here, then Q becomes 1. Therefore, what we can say that when R is equal to 1, S is equal to 1, the output is no change. That is, whatever it may be the previous output, we are getting same output. That is indicated as NC, that is no change. So, in RS latch, if R is equal to 1, S is equal to 1, it becomes inactive. If R is equal to 0, S is equal to 0, then Q is equal to 1 and Q bar is equal to 1, indicating an invalid condition. For R is equal to 0, S is equal to 1, then Q is equal to 1, known as set. For R is equal to 1, S is equal to 0, then Q is equal to 0, known as reset. Now, let us see about the level clocking. In computer, we have thousands of flip-flops. To coordinate the overall action of all the flip-flops, generally we will apply a square wave signal. This square wave signal controls the flip-flop. We can also call it as triggering of the flip-flop. So, computers uses thousands of flip-flops. To coordinate the overall action, a square wave signal called the clock is sent to each flip-flop. Now, the clock prevents the flip-flop from changing the states until the right time. Now, let us see the RS latch what we have seen just now with level clocking. Generally, it is termed as SR flip-flop. This is a diagram of SR flip-flop. Here we added two more NAND gates. This is RS NAND latch what we have seen in previous figure. This is R dash and S dash, and these are the inputs S and R, and this is the square wave signal which is known as clock. This is the truth table of the SR flip-flop. Now, when the clock is 0, so when the clock is 0, the irrespective of S and R inputs, R dash is 1, S dash is 1, therefore we will get no change in the output. Therefore, when clock is 0, whatever it may be R and S inputs, we will get no change. When clock is high, when S is 0 and R is 0, in such a case also we will get no change condition. When clock is high, R is 0, S is 1. So, R is 0 means S dash becomes 1. When S is 0, when R is 0 and S is 1, when R is 0 means S dash is 1, S is 1 means R dash becomes 0, therefore Q is 1. That means set the flip-flop. When R is 1 and S is 0, when R is 1 and S is 0, when S is 0, say R dash becomes 1, then S dash becomes 0, now we will get Q is 0. Now, when both R and S are 1, 1, R1, S1 and clock is also 1, therefore R dash becomes 0, S dash becomes 0, again we will enter into the forbidden condition which is called as race condition. It is represented by a star here. Therefore, when the clock is high, the S and R should never be high. A clock prevents S and R from controlling the latch. So, generally in flip-flop, a clock prevents S and R from controlling the latch. Latch must wait for action until clock goes high. That means when clock goes high, then only the latch come into action. Race condition occurs when clock is 1, R is 1, S is 1. In normal operation, both R and S never be high when clock goes high. This is a timing diagram of SR flip-flop. You see here, in this case, the S is changed from 0 to 1. But even though S changed from 0 to 1, because the clock is low, there is no change in the output. Now, when the clock is high, during this period, if R is 0, S is equal to 1, Q is equal to 1. And again here, when the clock is high, if R is high, S is equal to 0, Q is equal to 0. That means, from this timing diagram, we came to know that only when the clock is high, the output is responding. Now, let us see another flip-flop, D flip-flop. In case of SR flip-flop, S and R should not be high. One way to avoid this is by means of single input flip-flop known as D flip-flop. This is a diagram of D flip-flop. Now, this is a truth table of the D flip-flop. When clock is 0, that means when clock is 0, simply we will get no change condition irrespective of the D input. When clock is 1, that means for high clock, if D is 0, if D is 0, R dash is 1, if D is 0, this is complemented by this one, therefore it will become 1, both are 1, 1, therefore S dash becomes 0, then Q is simply 0. Now, when D is 1, if D is 1 and clock is 1, R dash is 0, therefore S dash is 1, then Q is 1. Therefore, in D flip-flop, whatever it may be the input to D, we are getting same as output Q when the clock is high. Therefore, D flip-flop is a transparent flip-flop. In D flip-flop, if clock is low, the flip-flop is inactive. If clock is high, D controls the output. Then Q is equal to D. Therefore, it is a transparent flip-flop. Now, let us see the edge triggered D flip-flop. In edge triggered D flip-flop, the clock signal is passes through a low time constant RC circuit, basically a differentiator circuit. Now, see here, This is a diagram of edge triggered D flip-flop. Here the clock signal is passes through a RC time circuit and output is differentiated output. Here when the clock is 0, when the clock is 1, simply we are getting 0 output. When the clock is trailing edge, we are getting a negative spike. When the clock is leading edge, we are getting positive spike. That means these NAND gates are triggers only when there is a positive spike. This is a truth table of edge triggered D flip-flop. When clock is 0, when clock is 1, when clock is trailing edge, irrespective of the D input, simply we are getting no change. Therefore, the flip-flop is response for only the leading edge. When the clock is leading edge, if D is 0, then Q is 0. For the leading edge of the clock, if D is 1, then Q is equal to 1. That means this flip-flop is a transparent flip-flop. It is a transparent only when for the leading edge of the clock. So RC circuit at the input gives positive and negative voltage spikes in case of edge triggered D flip-flop. Narrow positive spikes enables the input gate for an instant. Now let us see the timing diagram of positive edge triggered D flip-flop. See here the D changes from low to high and again also high to low, but here the clock is high, clock is trailing edge and clock is low. Therefore, there is no change in the output Q. Here at the instant of the leading edge of the clock, when the clock is high, therefore Q is high. And here also the D changed, but the clock is high, there is no leading edge, therefore no change in the output. Here for the leading edge of the clock, when D is 0, then Q is 0. Now let us see what is meant by edge triggering. In edge triggering, generally the clock signal, that is a square wave signal, is passes through a low time constant RC circuit, which will give positive and negative spikes. If the triggering is done for only positive spike, it is called as positive edge triggering. Positive spike means for the leading edge of the square wave signal. If the triggering is done for negative spike, that means for the trailing edge of the clock, that is called as negative edge triggering. So triggering using narrow spikes is called as edge triggering. When flip-flop responds for positive spike, it is called as positive edge triggering. When flip-flop responds for negative spike, it is called as negative edge triggering. What is the difference between level clocking and edge triggering? In case of edge triggering, the triggering can be done at an instant. That means at the instant of positive spike, say leading edge of the clock, or at the instance of negative spike, that means say trailing edge of the clock. But in case of level clocking, the triggering can be done when the clock is high, or the triggering can be done when the clock is low for the entire duration. So in edge triggering, the output can change only on the rising or falling edge of the clock. In level clocking, the output can change while the clock is high or low. Now let us see preset and clear inputs. The flip-flops, that means SR flip-flop and D flip-flops, what we have seen just now, and also we have seen the timing diagrams. Whenever you switch on the flip-flop, the output Q may be low or may be high, we can't say exactly. That means at the moment of switch on the flip-flop, the output is sometimes high required, sometimes low required. Therefore, to get the high output or high output or low output at the moment of switch on the flip-flop, we should add two more inputs. Those are preset and clear inputs. So this is the edge triggered D flip-flop with preset and clear inputs. So this is a preset input, this is a clear input. Here the preset and clear inputs are given through two AND gates. Now when preset is 0, when preset is 0, R dash is 0, therefore Q is 1. That means it presets the flip-flap. When clear is 0, the S dash is 0, therefore Q is 0, therefore it clears the flip-flap. When both preset and clear are 0, 0, in such a case what happens? It will enter into race condition because R dash and S dash become 0, 0. Therefore, preset and clear both should never be low. When preset and clear both are high, then what happens? If preset and clear both are high, simply this AND gate follows this second input. Therefore, it will act as a normal flip-flap. Therefore, the preset and clear are top priority inputs. Preset set the flip-flap, clear clears the flip-flap. Low clear signal reset the flip-flap, low preset signal set the flip-flap. Both preset and clear never be low. Preset and clear are top priority signals. These preset and clear inputs can be applied to any flip-flap, not only D flip-flap, it can be applied to any flip-flaps. Next, JK flip-flap. The problem in SR flip-flap is when S is equal to 1, when AND also R is equal to 1, we will enter into race condition. This race condition is eliminated completely in JK flip-flap. This is a diagram of JK flip-flap. Here, instead of using 2 input NAND gates, we are using 3 input NAND gates. The third input is feedback from the outputs. This is a truth table of the JK flip-flap. Because it is a edge triggered JK flip-flap, when clock is 0, when clock is 1, when clock is trailing edge, irrespective of J and K inputs, we will get no change condition. Now, when clock is leading edge, say J is 0, then K is 0. When J is 0 and K is 0, in such a case R dash and S dash becomes 1, 1, therefore Q is entered into no change condition. For the leading edge of the clock, when J is 0, K is 1. When J is 0, then R dash is 1. When K is 1, then S dash is say 0, therefore Q is simply 0. Now, when J is 1, K is 0. J is 1, K is 0. In such a case, S dash is 1, R dash is 0, therefore Q is 1, that means set the flip-flap. When both J and K are 1, when J is 1, K is 1, the clock is the leading edge. In such a case, the output is completely depending upon what is the output previously present. Now, let J is 1, K is 1, initially Q is 0. If initially Q is 0, this 0 feedbacks here, therefore S dash becomes 1, therefore Q bar is 1, it feedbacks here, then R dash becomes say 0, therefore Q becomes 1. That means when initially S is 0, now it has changed to 1. Now let us consider say initially Q is 1. If initially Q is 1, if this 1 feedbacks here, then S dash becomes 0, then R dash becomes 1, therefore Q is changed to 0. Therefore, if initially Q is 0, when J is equal to 1, K is equal to 1, Q is becoming 1. When initially Q is 1, for J is equal to 1, K is equal to 1, the Q is becoming 0. That means it is changing its state. The changing of the state is generally known as toggling. So here, when J is equal to 1, K is equal to 1 for leading edge of the clock, we will get toggle, that is represented as toggle. So, in JK flip-flap, race condition is eliminated. When J is equal to 1 and K is equal to 1, the Q toggles, that means switch to opposite state. When J is equal to 1, K is equal to 1 for level clocking, toggling occurs more than once during clock cycle, known as oscillating. Here, this flip-flap is edge-triggered JK flip-flap. Suppose when it is a level clocking JK flip-flap, in such a case, what happens? For example, say initially Q is 0, this Q0 is feedbacks, then it becomes 1. Again this one is feedbacks, then again it will become 0. That means continuously toggling. It will changes the state continuously until the clock is high. That means we can say it is oscillating. So the toggling occurs more than once for the level clocking for the JK flip-flop is known as oscillating. This problem is eliminated in master-slave JK flip-flop. This is a timing diagram of positive edge triggered JK flip-flop. You see here, for the leading edge of the clock, when J is 1, K is 0, Q is 1. For the leading edge of the clock, when J is 0, K is 1, say Q is 0. For the leading edge of the clock, when J is 1, K is 1, Q toggles. That means changes state from 0 to 1. And here also for the leading edge of the clock, J is 1, K is 1, Q is changing from 1 to 0. That means toggling. And here also Q is changing from 0 to 1. That is toggling because J and K both are high at leading edge. Similarly, we can design a JK flip-flop for negative edge triggering also. This is a timing diagram of negative edge triggered JK flip-flop. Here the output is changes for the trailing edge. See here, for the trailing edge of the clock, when J is 1, K is 0, Q is 1. For the trailing edge of the clock, J is 0, K is 1, say Q is 0. For the trailing edge of the clock, J is 1, K is 1, Q changing its states from low to high, and for the trailing edge of the clock, J is 1, K is 1, output is changing its states from high to low. Now let us see the JK flip-flop symbols. These are the three symbols of the JK flip-flops. Here this is the positive edge triggered JK flip-flop. This symbol represents that it is a positive edge triggered one. This is also a positive edge triggered JK flip-flop with preset and clear inputs. The bubble indicates that these are active low. And this is a negative edge triggered JK flip-flop because this is the edge triggering. This bubble indicates that it is a negative edge triggered JK flip-flop with preset and clear. These bubbles indicates that preset and clear are active low. Now let us see the another flip-flop, a master-slave JK flip-flop. The problem of oscillating when J is equal to 1, K is equal to 1 for level clocking is eliminated in master-slave JK flip-flop. This is a diagram of master-slave JK flip-flop. Here this is a master and this is a slave. The master is active when the clock is high. The slave is active when the clock is low because this low is inverted through an inverter. Therefore, for the high clock, whatever it may be inputs at J and K, it will available as a S and R. When the clock goes low, then this S and R fed to slave, then we will get output Q. Therefore, in master slave JK flip-flop, when the clock is high, the master is active and slave is inactive. When the clock is low, the master is inactive and slave is active. Therefore, for the completion of full clock cycle, we will get the output. Therefore, when J is equal to 1, K is equal to 1, toggling occurs for only one time for the completion of full clock cycle. So, oscillating in JK flip-flop when J is equal to 1 and K is equal to 1 for level clocking is eliminated in master-slave JK flip-flop. When clock is high, the master is active and slave is inactive. When clock is low, the master is inactive and slave is active. When J is 1 and K is 1, it toggles and acts as T flip-flop. When J is equal to 1, K is equal to 1. That means when we tie up both the J and K inputs and give as a single input, then it will become a single input flip-flop is known as T flip-flop or toggle flip-flop. Now let us see the another flip-flop, RST flip-flop. The RST flip-flop is combination of RS flip-flop and T flip-flop. This is the diagram of RS flip-flop. This is say RS flip-flop. Whenever you give inputs to S and R, then it will act as a SR flip-flop. whenever give input to T, it will act as a T flip-flop or toggle flip-flop. Therefore, it works as SR and toggle flip-flop. So, this is about the flip-flops. So, we have discussed about basically the SR flip-flop, D flip-flop, JK flip-flop, master slave JK flip-flop and T flip-flop. In addition to that, RST flip-flop. All the flip-flops have their own applications. Basically, the flip-flops can be used in registers and counters. Now, let us discuss about what is meant by counter. What is meant by counter? Counter is a register which can be able to count the number of clock pulses. The counters are basically two types, asynchronous counters and synchronous counters. A counter is a register capable of counting the number of clock pulses. The counters are first ripple counter, which is asynchronous counter, then synchronous counter. Now we will see each and every counter in detail. First, ripple counter. Ripple counter is nothing but asynchronous counter. Here it is a divide by n counter. This is a diagram of a 4-bit ripple counter. Here we have 4 JK flip-flops, JK 0, 1, 2 and 3. Here JK inputs are tied up and given to high. That means all the JK flip-flops are working in toggle mode. And here this symbol indicates that all these JK flip-flops are negative edge triggered JK flip-flops. The Q0 output is given to clock of the first flip-flop. When Q1 output given to clock of the flip-flop 2, Q2 output given to clock of the flip-flop 3 and an external clock is given to the flip-flop 0. The clear signal is connected to a clear bar input. Whenever the clear bar is low, all the flip-flops are resets, then output Q is equal to 0, 0, 0, 0. Now, whenever clear bar goes high, the flip-flops are come into action. Now, the counter will start counting. When the first clock pulse is applied, for the trailing edge of the first clock pulse, because it is a negative edge triggered JK flip-flop, flip-flop 0 toggles, then output changes from 0 to 1. Whenever the output changes from 0 to 1, it gives the leading edge clock to flip-flop 1. Because it is a negative edge triggered one, therefore this flip-flop will not respond and output is remains 0. Therefore, flip-flop 2 and flip-flop 3 also not responds, output is 0, 0, 0, 1. Now, for the second clock pulse, once again flip-flop 0 toggles, output changes from 1 to 0. When the Q0 changes from 1 to 0, it will give the trailing edge clock. Once the trailing edge clock given to flip-flop 1, this will start toggling. When the flip-flop 1 toggles, output is changes from 0 to 1. Once output is changes from 0 to 1, it will give leading edge clock to the flip-flop 2. Therefore, flip-flop 2 is not response. Similarly, flip-flop 3 is also not response. Output is 0, 0, 1, 0. For the third clock pulse, again only flip-flop 0 is toggles. Output is 0, 0, 1, 1. For the fourth clock pulse, flip-flop 0 toggles, flip-flop 1 toggles and also flip-flop 2 is also toggles. Then output is 0, 1, 0, 0. This action is continuous for remaining clock pulses, that is 5th clock pulse, 6th clock pulse and also 7th clock pulse. At the end of the 7th clock pulse, the output is 0, 1, 1, 1. Whenever the 8th clock pulse is applied, in such a case, all the 4 flip-flops are toggles, because it is changing from 1 to 0, gives trailing edge. It is also changing from 1 to 0, gives the trailing edge. It is also changing from 1 to 0, gives the trailing edge. Therefore, it changes from 0 to 1. Therefore, output is 1, 0, 0, 0. In similar manner, the counting is continuous for remaining clock pulses up to 15th clock pulses. At the end of the 15th clock pulse, the output is say 1, 1, 1, 1. Whenever a 16th clock pulse is applied, all 4 flip-flop are toggles, then changes the states, then Q0 is changes from 1 to 0, Q1 is changes from 1 to 0, Q2 is changes from 1 to 0, and also Q3 is changes from 1 to 0. Therefore, output Q is 0, 0, 0, 0. That means this counter counts from 0 to 15. At the instant of 16th clock pulse, all the flip-flops are resets, then fresh count will start. Therefore, this counter is called as divide by n. In the place of n 16, we can call it as divide by 16 counter. And it is a ripple counter. Why it is called as ripple counter means because here the carry is propagated through a chain of n flip-flops. That means when the Q0 is toggles, the output of Q0 is goes to Q1, then Q0 is toggles, then output of Q1 is goes to Q2. Like that the carry is propagated through a chain of n flip-flops. That's why it is called as a ripple counter, and the operation is done in asynchronously, therefore it is called as asynchronous counter. When J is K is 1, each flip-flop will toggle when clock input is negative. When clear bar is low, Q is equal to 0, 0, 0, 0. When clear bar is high, the counter ready to go. So this is a truth table of mod 16 counter. Here for count 0, output is 0, 0, 0, 0. For first clock pulse, output is 0, 0, 0, 1. For second, 0, 0, 1, 0. Like that up to 15th clock pulse. For 15th clock pulse, output is 1, 1, 1, 1. So whenever you apply the 16th clock pulse, then it skips to 0, 0, 0, 0. That means the fresh count will start. This is a timing diagram of mod 16 counter. You see here, for the trailing edge of the clock, that means for every trailing edge of the clock, the Q0 is toggling. That means it is changing from 0 to 1, 1 to 0, 0 to 1, 1 to 0. For every trailing edge of the Q0, Q1 is toggling. For every trailing edge of the Q1, Q2 is toggling. For every trailing edge of the Q2, Q3 is toggling. Now, let us discuss about synchronous counter. In asynchronous counter, that is in ripple counter, the carry is propagated through a number of the flip-flops, a chain of n flip-flop. So in previous figure we have 4 flip-flop, that means carry is propagated through 4 flip-flop. Therefore, overall propagation delay time is n-tp, that is here 4-tp. That means the asynchronous counters, that means the ripple counters are slow. To eliminate this ripple delay, we can go for synchronous counters. When the carry has to propagate through a chain of n flip-flops, the overall propagation delay time is n-tp. The ripple counters are too slow. The ripple delay is eliminated in synchronous counter. This is a diagram of synchronous counter. Here also we are using JK flip-flops. Here we have shown the negative edge triggered JK flip-flops. We can also use positive edge triggered JK flip-flops also for synchronous counter. Here the first flip-flop J0 K0 is tied up and given to high. The Q0 is given to J1 K1 and J2 K2 is given as Q0 and Q1, and J3 is Q0 Q1 Q2. That means when the clear bar is goes low, all the flip-flops will go slow and it will start count. Output is simply Q is 0, 0, 0, 0. When clear bar goes high, the counting will start counting. Then here the clock is given to all the flip-flop. Therefore, at the instant of every clock, all the flip-flops will respond when they are in toggle mode. So here the flip-flop 1 is toggles when Q0 is high. Flip-flop 2 is toggles when Q0 and Q1 are high. Flip-flop 3 is toggles when Q0, Q1, Q2 are high. Therefore, for the first clock pulse, the output is 0, 0, 0, 1. For the second clock pulse, because the Q0 is already high, therefore flip-flop 0 and flip-flop 1 are toggles, output is 0, 0, 1, 0, and so on. In this way, the action is continuous. When clear bar goes high, the counter ready to go, same as in case of ripple counter in synchronous counter. First negative clock edge sets Q0 to get Q is 0, 0, 0, 1. Second clock pulse toggles Q0 and Q1 simultaneously, then Q is equal to 0, 0, 1, 0. Third clock pulse advances count by 1 and so on. So in similar manner, we will get the counting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that up to 15th clock pulse. Whenever you get the 15th clock pulse, output is 1, 1, 1, 1. Therefore, all the flip-flops are now ready to toggle. So whenever you apply the 16th clock pulse, or 4 flip-flops are toggles, then count will become 0, 0, 0, 0. So it will count for the 0 to 15 clock pulses. Therefore, it is a mod 16 counter. Our next counter is mod 10 counter, decade counter. So in previous figure, we used 4 flip-flops. In such a case, we are getting 0 to 15 count. That means the modulus of the counter is 15. The modulus of the counter is depending upon number of flip-flops. That means how many number of output states we will get. Suppose if you want to design a flip-flop with different moduluses, say mod 9, mod 10, mod 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 like that. In such a case, what you have to do? In such a case also we can use 4 flip-flops. Then with a slight design modification, we can obtain any amount of modulus. One such a type of counter is mod 10 counter or decade counter. So the modulus of counter is number of output states it has. A 4-bit counter has modulus of 16. By changing a design, we can produce any desired modulus. A decade counter is a modulus of 10. Now, let us see the diagram of decade counter and its working. This is a decade counter. You see here, this is same as the ripple counter, what we have seen in previous figure, but only the difference is we have 2 gates, one AND gate and one NAND gate. Here the input of the NAND gates are Q1 and Q3. So Q1, Q3 are given to the input of NAND gate, then output of the NAND gate is Y. It is given to one of the inputs of the AND gate. When the clear bar goes low, simply it is low, therefore all the flip-flops are resets, then output Q becomes 0, 0, 0, 0. Because this is a ripple counter and all JK flip-flops are in toggle mode given with a high input. Now, whenever we start counting action, that means whenever you apply the first clock pulse for CLR bar is high, then counting will start as usually. That means for first clock pulse, output is 0, 0, 0, 1. For second clock pulse, output is 0, 0, 1, 0 and so on. When at the instant of 9th clock pulse, output is 1, 0, 0, 1. Whenever we apply the 10th clock pulse, then what happens? Whenever you apply the 10th clock pulse, output will become 1, 0, 1, 0. So whenever the output becomes 1, 0, 1, 0, Q1 is 1, Q3 is 1, both ones are given to this NAND gates, therefore NAND gate output Q becomes 0, then this 0 is propagates, goes to clear inputs, therefore all the flip-flops are immediately clears. That means suddenly the flip-flop output Q becomes 0, 0, 0, 0. That means whenever we apply the 10th clock pulse, the output is changes to 0, 0, 0, 0. That means this counter is counting from 0 to 9 for the 10th clock pulse, all the flip-flops are resetting. That's why it is called as decade counter. See, this is a state diagram of the decade counter. Here the output is changing from 0 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Up to 9th clock pulse it will count. After 9th clock pulse it skips to 0. That means the decade counter skips the states of 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. This is a truth table of decade counter. Here for 9th clock pulse, output is 1, 0, 0, 1. For 10th clock pulse, output is 0, 0, 0, 0. That means the fresh count will start after completion of 9th clock pulse. So decade counter is a ripple counter. At 9th clock pulse, Q is 1, 0, 0, 1. At the instant of 10th clock pulse, low clear input to all flip-flops and output becomes Q is 0, 0, 0, 0. Then it skips the states 10 to 15. The output of NAND gate is Y is Q3, Q1 bar. For 10th clock pulse, Q3 is 1 and Q1 is 1. Therefore, Y is equal to 0. It clears all the flip-flops. Now Q is 0, 0, 0, 0. So therefore, the decade counter counts up to 10 clock pulse. Now we will see the IC flip-flops and IC counters. The flip-flops and counters are readily available in the market in the form of ICs. First, let us see the IC flip-flops. 7473 dual JK flip-flop, 7474 dual D flip-flop, 7475 quad bistable latch, 7476 dual JK flip-flop, 74107 dual JK flip-flop, 74109 dual JK flip-flop, 74173 quad D flip-flop, 74174 hex D flip-flop. In similar manner, the counters also available readily in the form of ICs of say TTL ICs and CMOS ICs. First, let us see the TTL ICs. IC counters: 7490 decade counter, 7492 divide by 12 counter, 7493 4-bit binary ripple counter, 74160 BCD decade counter, 74161 4-bit binary counter, 74168 up-down synchronous counter, 74197 presettable 4-bit binary counter. Now, IC counters of CMOS type: 4510 BCD up-down counter, 4516 binary up-down counter and 4518 dual up counter. So, these are the IC counters what readily available in the market. Therefore, in this session we have discussed about several flip-flops and counters. We have seen the counters, asynchronous counters, which are generally called as ripple counters, and also synchronous counters. In addition to these counters, we have several other counters also, say up counters, down counters, ring counters, odd sequence counters, like that. The counters what we have seen now are completely up counters, because we are counting from 0 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that we are counting in upwards. In some applications, we have to require down counting, that is in count down operation. In such a case, we have to go for down counters. The down counters will count downwards. That is, for example, if it is a decade counter of downwards, it counts 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, like that it will count downwards. And also, the ICs up down counter readily available. If you give one input, say one control input, it will work as a up counter. If you give one control input, it will work as a down counter. So, in this way the up down counters are available. And also we have the ring counters, and also we have odd sequence counters. Like that we have several number of counters depending upon our application. That is, what are the application, for which application we are using these counters, we can have any type of counters. But generally whatever it may be the counter, we will use the JK flip-flop, the JK flip-flop in toggle mode. That is the main applications of counters and flip-flops. That is the end of this session, and thank you.